Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Earth Station Trek, a show where we trek through the history of Star Trek from the very beginning on NBC up through the current on Paramount Plus and everything in between. And it is my pleasure to fill in for Chuck for just a few minutes, and I will introduce my co host. My name is Alan, by the way, Keith Johnson.
What's up, y'all? We're waiting for our crew to come back from the temporal rift.
That's right. They got sucked into a temporal eddy and they're fighting their way through, but they're going to be here.
Yes.
So while we're waiting for them, Keith, let's just go ahead and get started with our this week's history lesson in what's happening in Star Trek this week.
All righty. Got one that's relevant for recent track.
And the rest aren't relevant at all.
Yeah, not at all. They don't have any connection. This is kind of interesting. The 26th of October, 1966. And then just 2 days later, the final draft of this episode was submitted, get this, on the 26th of October. And 2 days later, they started filming. And that is The Squire of Gothos.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The classic with Trelane.
Yeah, that does fit right in with the last season of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, and of course, there's all kinds of... Me personally, not because I'm complaining about anything on that level, I didn't think that Trelane needed to be a Q, although they have now pretty much established a train. Well, not even as just a Q, but is, what do they think? Little Q, right? Q Junior?
Q2? He's a lowercase Q, not a capital Q.
Yeah. And this is one of those, it's not like it bothers me or keeps me awake at night. It's personally, I sometimes
hope not.
Yeah, right. I sometimes don't like a bunch of connections in the show because it makes the universe feel smaller. I think Chuck said that one time, but this one doesn't bother me. It's fine. I think David Gerald even wrote a novel a long time ago suggesting that he was a Q anyway.
Yeah,
which I find very interesting.
Yeah, so there's definitely precedent, and of course, fans have speculated about that for decades. So it makes it's fine. It makes sense. It doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Same here. And then just one day after that script and one day before filming of Trelane, we really need Veronica here for this. 27th October, or a year later, 1967 was Cat's Paw.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, you know that one's coming up. The Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Good episode. Probably scared me more as a kid. You know, back in the day when a cat with some special effects looking giant. There they are. Hey guys.
Hello.
There they are. They're back from the temporal vortex. Hey, we were just going through history, and just in time on the 27th of October, I was saying 1967, Veronica, Cat's Paw aired.
Hey.
Yay! Yeah, the Halloween episode. Mm-hmm. And I was saying that when I was a kid, I was about 7 or 8 when I first saw it. It was scary because if you're old enough, you remember back when they would just take a cat or a dog and try to film it where it looked giant. And I remember being scared of the black cat when I was a kid. Well, I really did. And then if you watch the ending, like Chuck still has one, if you watch the ending on a standard definition small screen television, Sylvia and Korob don't look so goofy at the end because I think there were pipe cleaners and stuff. But believe you me, back in the day on a little TV with not a good screen, they looked creepy at the end. And I couldn't tell what they were made of. Great episode. Okay. And the 28th of October. Well, this is also relevant. We talked before you guys got on about things that are relevant to modern track. 28th of October, 1966. Who knew? The final draft was submitted for Arena. And of course, the rest is history. I mean, not just the Gorn, but the whole concept of not taking vengeance on your enemy. One of the ones that cemented the concept of the godlike aliens and the Metrons, and also continued the fame of Vasquez rocks being used in God knows how many Westerns and adventure shows and Star Trek episodes.
Yeah.
A great episode. It was the first appearance of the Gorn, and I'm going to leave it right there.
The only appearance of the Gorn.
Yeah. Now, if Elaine and Matt are watching, so Elaine, slight spoilers, I think, also on the 20th of October, 30 years later, and kind of sort of Halloween related, was the DS9 episode The Assignment airs.
Okay.
And Veronica, that's the one where, again, spoilers late, that's one where Keiko O'Brien was taken over by a paw wraith, and she makes Miles do all these crazy assignments.
Yeah.
And Rosalind Chow basically gets the act because she didn't get the whole show.
Yeah.
In that episode.
Nice.
When you said the title, I could not remember which one that one was. I didn't recognize the title at all.
I had to look it up, and she plays really good playing creepy because she always has such a nice smile on her face, and pretty much, no offense against the actress, is how they wrote her. Pretty much most of the show, she was yelling at Miles for leaving his socks around or something like that.
Right.
And it was cool to have her as this evil villain who was basically doing that thing you do in movies where she would hug Molly and she had that little evil look on her face, like she's gonna any second she might kill the child. That's a really, really good episode. And let's see. Oh, okay. This is a good one too. And this is the last one I think I have today. The 30th October 1995. For people of a certain age, this is no big deal at all. But in the time, because I was there, Rejoined aired.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
Boy, that caused a stir.
Absolutely. And again, Elaine, if you're listening, just slight spoilers, but this is one where Dax, and this is real complicated, Dax's symbiote used to be in a different host body in the past. And a lady comes to do some scientific work with Deep Space Nine about stable wormholes. Her host, the symbiote in her host body, used to be in a different host in the past. And in the past, those two different host bodies with the same symbiotes used to be married.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she was a man and Dax was a woman at that time, but the feelings carry over. And it's an interesting episode. One, they changed the whole lore of the Trill like almost every episode, because the whole point was Trill were never supposed to go back to their previous associations and lives, even though Dax is hanging out with Cisco. And the thing
And later
is,
Ezri just hangs out with everyone.
yeah, exactly. And in Trill society, the custom is if you violate that taboo and let your new host get involved with your people from the past host lives, they will banish that person from Trill society, and the symbiote doesn't get a new body. And so when the host dies, they both die.
Yeah.
That was at stake. Of course, as Alan mentioned, this is 1995. And I remember when this aired, there was a huge warning at the start of the episode. And I hate to say this, but in the South, in certain places, it was a big deal because it has a lesbian kiss in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was huge back in the day. I mean, it was ridiculously huge.
It does not have a lesbian kiss.
How's
It
that?
has two women kissing,
Thank you. Good point.
neither of
good
whom
point.
are lesbians.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah. And well, two women kissing, you're right. And boy, did it throw up it was a mess back then. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember it came up at youth camp that summer.
Would this
Interesting.
be Christian youth camp by chance?
Yeah, Southern Baptist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it there, Charles.
Christianist of them all. And I think that the taboo in Trill society was romantic connections,
Mhm.
not necessarily just friends, because
Right.
how can you, especially if you're if you're on Trill and you just know all the same people, you can't avoid all
Yeah.
of them just because. So I think it was romantic connections that keep the symbiote from moving on into new situations, into new experiences.
Then Ezri should not have gotten with Worf at all whatsoever, or even thought about it. But I
Yeah.
guess she didn't have training.
But I think it was more mainly to do with Trill, not necessarily Trills and other people. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my way I go with it. And just since you brought it up a couple times, yes, Elaine is watching, because she says, when I see pictures from Squire of Gothos, I think of the monkeys, because Mike wore the Squire's jacket in one episode.
That's true.
Yep.
Hey, good point. Very good call, Elaine.
Monkeys history here on Earth Station Trek.
All right. Okay, that's this week in Trek history.
Well, great.
Sweet.
Yeah, so this week we were planning to talk about some costumes and wardrobe in Star Trek, with it being Halloween week, and we've got some photos to look at as well. So
Pretty.
now they're going to come up randomly. So we'll whoever picked that one can sort of lead that conversation about that photo, I guess.
I have a couple that are like two photos that relate to each other,
Mm-hmm.
but when they're not sorted, then it's going to be like,
I'm the
I'll
same
have
way.
to talk about it 2 different times. That's which is fine with me.
I
Right.
did the same thing, but I threw it at the last second. So
Okay.
I didn't throw any in there.
Oh, Veronica.
I know.
I know.
Well, Ron, you can describe them, and we can try to imagine what you're seeing.
Yeah. And we should describe them for the folks who are listening to the audio podcast.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So
whose
this
photo
is a group photo from Q. Which one is it?
Cupid.
Q who?
Cupid. Yeah.
Where
Mhm.
the main cast of Next Generation are all cosplaying, quote unquote,
Mhm.
as Robin Hood characters.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I love this episode so much. And the second half of the episode, particularly, where all this stuff comes from, because the second half of the episode is funny and witty, and there's action set pieces, and it's so much fun.
Right.
And it was so unexpected at that time for anything that Next Generation had done before, and it was
Yes.
just a ball.
It's
Yeah.
actually more like the last third. The last, because we watched it live one time, and
Yep.
I forgot how that there's very little of this actually in there. There's
Yep.
a lot of episode before this part.
Yep.
Of course, famous for the "Sir, I protest, I am not a merry man" quote, which became somewhat of a meme for a while. It's a good episode. I like episodes too, where you can tell the actors are having fun, as they say. And at the end, when Patrick Stewart's Jean-Luc Picard is engaged in a sword fight with the sheriff of Nottingham, and the sheriff said he's the best fencer in all of Nottingham, there's a smile on his face, and I think it's Patrick Stewart smiling, not Picard smiling, because obviously he's trained in that stuff, and he looks good fighting with a sword.
So is this an example of good costuming or bad costuming?
Good.
I'd say good.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely good.
LeVar Burton really stands out as Alan the Dale. Or is it Will Scarlet or Alan the Dale? Alan, he's playing the mandolin and the lute.
I think it's a loop.
Luke.
Yeah.
I guess it's Will Scarlet if he's wearing all red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks good. And Picard actually Stewart looks good as Robin Hood too. That works.
Yeah, and they were still at an age where they could wear tights.
Right.
True.
From this episode, there is a little art rendering of them as My Little Ponies. Since John Delancey was also Discord, and they're all like ponies and whatnot, and the Worf pony is like, I am not a little pony.
Wow.
Nice.
It's adorable.
And one thing, even though it's not quote unquote truly costumes, I've always liked the Van Dyke beard that they slapped on Patrick Stewart, and they also slapped one on John Delancey. That always gives you cool guy or bad guy in any movie. So I like that.
Yeah. All right.
Elaine says that Cupid is one of her favorites, and they had watched The Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn right around the same time they'd watched this one.
Okay.
So good.
That's awesome.
That is cool, Elaine.
Good timing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
All right. So this is one that I had thrown up there, and
That is awesome.
is it?
Oh my gosh, it's Dayglow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
I
not
want
so
to see
good.
cosplay that.
You're right. Yeah. Early Jake Sisko went through a journey with his costuming over the course
Yes.
of the show.
Yeah.
And you may remember there's a TV Guide article that was sort of ranking TV kids' wardrobes, and Jake Sisko was named the worst dressed kid on TV. And it wasn't long after that they upgraded his wardrobe. So I grabbed some interesting examples. Yes. I grabbed some interesting examples of Jake Sisko wardrobe over the years, because he went through a few phases, but this is his sort of like romper onesie phase where he would have brightly colored outfits. And I think that Nog looks better here than Jake does.
You know what, Charles?
It looks like they're puzzle pieces stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Charles, before you change that, oddly, I was looking at other episodes. This looks like something that would have come from the original series. That kind of goofy color and weird patterns, like the people in the Mark of Gideon, they kind of have something like that. So it almost looks like it belongs more in the original series than in DS9.
Right.
I got two comments about Cupid.
Okay.
Wayne, our buddy who was on our show last week,
Hey, Wayne.
said Worf is not a merry man.
Yep.
And he loved it when Worf pulled the Animal House routine on Geordi.
Yeah.
And then
everyone who's ever had a friend with a guitar has thought about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then Elaine says, I need sunglasses for Jake's outfit.
No
and
kidding.
I know we haven't gotten to this episode yet, but I have remembered this. I would have remembered this.
I feel like this is probably early season 2.
I don't know what episode this
Because
is this season.
Jake doesn't look like very little kid, but still kind of little kid.
Yeah, he looks very
He and
young.
Nog were about this. He wasn't much taller than Nog in season 1, and now he's like head and shoulders taller than Nog.
Well, I can totally see this outfit landing somebody on the list of worst dressed teens on television.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of Jake costumes that I really like.
Yeah, and I've got some good
I would
examples
wear
of Jake costumes as well in here. So this is not one that you'd wear, Alan.
No,
Okay.
this is terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we've got next. Okay.
Yeah, this is the scene that
Mhm.
Wayne was talking about. This is Geordie playing his lute badly until Worf finally gets up and smashes it against a tree and says, sorry.
Yeah, that's a great episode.
That's a great moment.
It
Yeah.
is.
I liked that in the comments it just said playing badly.
Right.
Now, this, I decided to go off show a little bit because this is the Enterprise cast.
Mhm.
They are doing a Halloween party and they're all dressed in characters from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mhm.
And I just love this. So it's not necessarily Trek characters that are, in costume, but it is the cast in costume. And it's so funny.
Who do they have playing Brad and Janet?
They don't appear
I
to be
don't-
cast members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look at Archer in his Frankenfurter get up.
He looks good.
Heck yeah, man.
Connor Trenier.
Yep.
A Trip dressed not too dissimilar to that on the show because you see Trip in his underwear more often than probably any other.
That's
Star Trek
very
character.
true.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Wow. I wonder where this came from. That's that's a wild one.
All right. So who picked this one?
This is me.
Okay.
This is the scene from the Cloud Minders, the episode with where Kirk and Spock had to go down and get the what was the name of that stuff? I know the name of the mineral that they needed for botanical plague. Xenite, and it created the gas that made the people go crazy. The reason I like this is absolutely William Ware Tice, and this is a couple of things. It's William Ware Tice's style, which is very prominent, of course, in the original series, but it also shows what people in the late 60s and early 70s thought the future was going to look like. Almost every depiction of the future, aliens or advanced humans, had them either in leotards or unitards, really plain stuff, or they have them somehow look kind of retro. And Droxine here is wearing this shimmering thing with a whatever you call it. The dress is shimmering, and then her father has got that standard thing that looks like inspired by ancient Rome or something like that.
Right.
And it's always funny when you look at science fiction that that's what they often thought. If the amount of science fiction, especially back then, where everybody in the future on another planet looked like they were from ancient Greece or Rome, is just kind of insane. Togas and all that kind of jazz. So I like the look, and it actually works on her. This is often among fans listed as one of the best costumes for women in Star Trek, the entire franchise. But of course, they didn't really do much costuming for women like this in later series throughout the franchise. Not on this level.
Yeah. Now, Veronica, you have a dress that's very similar to this.
Really?
You were just wearing it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. But you changed the way yours is meant to cross over.
Yeah, it's meant to cross over just like this one, but I shifted it because it's basically almost a wrap, but a wrap with multiple wrap pieces.
Okay.
So I shifted it where the cross goes under instead of over, because for one, there's support, because there's no support in this, and I that would not work for me. But also that kind of covers up the assets and not shows them.
Yeah.
So
The assets.
And
what's the point of having assets if you're not going to show them?
exactly.
the other thing, real quick, the reason I also like this is that dress could actually be worn today. It doesn't look so out of place that you instantly go, "Oh, that's a 1960s."
Apparently,
outfit.
because you can buy something almost exactly like that online.
Really?
So what you're saying is they did actually correctly predict the future.
There you go. You're right.
Good point. Yeah.
Or just those types of dresses are still popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the way this one crosses is probably better for 1960s television, getting past the censors
Yes.
than
True.
the way
Oh,
you
yes.
do your dress.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
right.
You cannot see any cleavage in this.
And real quick, Charles,
Not
last
even a
thing.
hint.
Charles, you mentioned 1960s television. Again, people would probably go, ha, whatever. But that midriff of hers back in the 60s, that thing was so daring. You
You could
can't
probably
even
see her
imagine.
belly button.
Yeah, it was so
Right.
daring. This
That-
got so much.
Yeah,
Which-
the belly button was a big deal back then.
It was. You couldn't do that on I Dream of Jeannie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
That which is just bananas.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Elaine says, I love Rocky Horror Enterprise. That would have been a good episode if they had all had to do the time warp. Elaine, stop right there, because if you say too much, the Strange New Worlds people will grab hold of that and they'll do it.
That would have been great though if Daniels was brought him to his cabin and was like, all right, now it's just to jump to the left and then just started.
And our friend Bill says, that was amazing. Did they do any shadow casting? Don't
I
know.
doubt it.
Doubt
They
it, probably
probably
not.
just wore it for
Right,
fun.
exactly.
If so, that footage is not out there, or we would have seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been found by now.
All right, here we go. All right, who picked this one?
Oh, that's me again.
Okay.
Can you make it any bigger?
The last one I could. This one's not giving me the option.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. This, for those who aren't looking, there's a bunch of people in what looks like a completely greenish background, and there's a mob of people just staring, and they're literally wearing what do you call these? Is it unitards?
Onesies with
Onesies.
the hood.
Yeah,
That
onesies.
goes like directly around the face, so all you can see is the face.
Yeah, they almost look like the way when you see Olympic skiers and stuff, but they have the thing that covers the body, the head. And then again, this is from the episode Market Getting in the original series. And the point of this episode is the planet is so incredibly crowded that there's not any place on the entire planet where you can be alone even for a second, which is of course why they built a full-scale mock-up of the Enterprise on the planet. But that's a whole other story. The point of it's a quick aside, it's also for the 1960s an incredibly daring episode because the people have evidently long lives, perfect health, and Kirk even mentions contraceptions because they're desperate to reduce their population. And Kirk in the episode, again, 1960s, big deal. He said there's any manner of contraceptives available to you. But the guy says they believe life is so sacred, they basically don't use birth control. And basically when they cut parts out and off, they grow back. So, of course, they came up with the idea to find a pathogen, a virus that they have real resistance to, and they're just going to kill off billions of their people, which is way
Instead
better
of
than
contraceptives.
And that tracks though, that they value the life of an unborn child more than a grown adults.
well, true.
Yep.
That's not
Yep.
far-fetched.
Right. And the reason I even mentioned this one again is because the people here are just dull. The picture is grayish, but they
Hey,
are
that
dull.
tracks too.
What's that?
That tracks too.
Yeah, and they are wearing these unitards, these onesies that, again, back in the 60s and 70s, everybody thought the future would look like this. You even go back to look at stuff like Metropolis or THX 1138 by George Lucas. Almost all the future apocalyptic or just future scenarios from that time, people look like this. They're all going to wear the same thing. They're all going to be gray and they're all going to be boring. Or they're
They
going to wear.
must have found some
totally-
kind of like weight control thing or something. I don't know, because when you get to
Yeah.
a certain size, you cannot wear that, or I'm sorry, you should
comfortable.
not. It's not comfortable.
Right.
Like
but
there's
it's,
areas that's too tight that shouldn't be too tight. It's like,
yeah. But the one thing I like is you look at this and you don't even have to have seen the episode to get some kind of feeling from these people.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that.
And I would expect in this case in particular is because they had so many extras they wanted to do that they needed a cheap costuming option.
Oh, yes.
That's
Oh,
true.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
All right, here we go. So whose is this one?
This is me again. I think we got we got stuck in my thing here.
Okay.
God, dog, what's the name of this episode? I just looked at it from TNG. It's the one with the Janai,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the one with the planet where they no longer have gender. And Riker falls in love with one of the members of this planet, and it becomes a huge taboo because this person is starting to express gender and starts thinking of themselves as a woman, as a female, and starts falling for Riker. And on this planet, this is absolute taboo. You're not supposed to have any gender. And people who do express gender are not only ostracized, but they also undergo conversion therapy, which in their society seems to be effective, unlike in our society where it's BS, because they have the modern technology. But the reason I bring it again, it's a good follow-up to the Mark of Gideon, is if you look at the episode of the picture here, they have on colorful costumes, but they're dull and drab. And everybody has a hairstyle that's just the side of Vulcans. That's everything about them is drab and dull and uncreative.
They have styles of almost the same outfit, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's the one with the cross, and then there's hers in the front where it has almost like a vest thing. And there's someone who has a weird collar thing, and someone in the back that like has no thing. And there's someone in the like far back with a little popped collar, like a bad guy thing.
Pop collar.
And the ones. Go ahead, Charles.
No, I was going to say this is another example, I think, of the costuming being part of the storytelling, because the idea was they're trying to not show the secondary sexual characteristics of the various actors, to try to make them look more homogenous.
Yeah,
so you have the shoulder pads and just the way that the designs are cut.
Right, and Veronica was calling out a couple in the back. I also find it interesting. There's two of the people in the back who have head coverings. That reminds me of nothing so much as like a cleric or a monk or a friar back in medieval ages.
Or a tie.
Hey, good point. It just kind of contributes to an air of rigidity and uniformity and lack of individuality in the society.
So two things. One, here we are setting out to do a nice, simple episode about costuming on Star Trek, and we have hit just about every controversial subject we can possibly hit, and we're only in like 15 minutes. So great job, everybody. And second, Elaine says, oh, I remember this TNG episode. There was a story arc in the Orville that was similar to this with Bortus, his husband, and their child. Yes, that was a great story arc.
Yeah, it was.
That's true. And also, like the best Star Trek and the best fiction, I have no idea how much they thought that this was going to, I knew it was, I'm sure that it was controversial and relevant, but I sometimes think the best episodes, they probably have no idea how relevant they remain throughout history, because this crap sure is relevant right now as well.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Now we're just about to the halfway point. Did we want to take a break before we get into the next one?
Oh, sure. Hang on.
Okay. So when we come back, we'll be continuing to talk about the costumes in Star Trek. But first, we'll have a word from not really a sponsor. We'll be back after these messages.
We can't show you what happens in the Felt Nerdy and Dirty show, but we can show you the people responsible. Charles Kelso, Veronica Dashel. Felt Nerdy and Dirty. You won't believe your eyes.
And we're back.
Hey, do you want to skip this? Because this is another one of mine. I don't want to keep being.
No, go right ahead, Keith.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, because there'll be a long stretch where there's none of yours. So.
Well, first of all, how many did you upload? If it's 40 or 45, then
7.
let's skip this. But no.
7.
Okay, that's not bad.
This is a picture of the Telosians, and it's almost like I've got an obsessive theme going on here. But the Telosians again have these shifts that they're wearing. One of them, the leader, actually has a little medallion around their neck, which is kind of cool. But again, future Gene Roddenberry, and not just the clothing, but of course in the 60s and 70s and beyond, everybody thought that in the future advanced beings were going to have giant heads like the Telosians have. But again, this is a society where they have lost ability to repair their machines. They don't have a dynamic society at all. All they do evidently is sit around and use their mental powers as drugs to create illusions for themselves. And they just are all wearing the same shift or robe over themselves, which again, when you look at this, not just the heads, you look at the costume, it instantly kind of conveys the society that is lost and has no real life to it. Because one of the things they do, if you think about it, they say they want to have Pike and others create a race of slaves. But Vina also tells him that they live through their imaginations and memories. It's kind of sick in a way. They're almost like succubus or incubus, which I forget which is which, because they might give you these fantasies, might be sexual fantasies or adventure fantasies, but then thousands of them, as one of the people told the leader, said thousands of us are probing the creature's mind, talking about Pike. That's kind of creepy. That means they're sitting in their homes getting into whatever he's doing, real or imaginary.
Right.
And it's a frightening society to think of.
Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of similar to the last one you discussed, that the costuming is sort of accomplished a similar thing, because they were, for the Telosians, they cast all women, and then they had men dub the voices. And then in the Menagerie version, they pitched up those men's voices. They're shooting for something that was otherworldly, right? And so, similarly, these costumes, you have sort of the broad shoulders on the women and sort of padding on what looks like padding on and higher, collars on them, to sort of hide their female characteristics.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've got a comment from Bill talking about the episode with the Genii. I appreciated that episode. I still think there's a massive plot hole. With accessible interstellar travel, it would be easy to send the nonconformists to other worlds where they'd be happier.
Yeah, but they weren't worried about happiness. They were worried about them conforming with their society.
And Bill, I agree with you, except that remember the Berlin Wall, for example. And I remember when I was younger, and they would talk about how if people tried to escape East Germany, they got shot. And I remember as a kid going, why don't they just let them leave? Why can't you just leave North Korea? I mean, if you don't want to be there, you should be allowed to go. Because as Veronica said, they don't care about your happiness. They want you to conform to the state, and you can't leave and indicate the state's not perfect. And that's why they wouldn't let them go.
Yeah, and they would see it as, if you're not happy here, you're welcome to leave, as an invitation to other people who are not happy, rather than minding the party line and doing what they felt that they're supposed to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So moving right along.
Let's skip, because that's one of mine.
No, I like it. You want to talk about it?
I keep talking, guys.
No, it's fine.
This is Enterprise, and this is just a picture of the crew whose uniforms I love, other than T'Pol.
Okay.
I've said this
really that different from theirs. It's still a onesie jumper that's way too tight.
Yeah, it's just, well, I guess it's supposed to be Vulcan. I just like this because I've said many times that I love the uniforms on Enterprise because they don't look quote unquote spacey. They look so much like modern day outfits that our shuttle astronauts have worn. They look very practical. I don't care about the fact that people point out hilariously that they have pockets and zippers, because Gene Roddenberry evidently famously said there were no zippers in the future. I don't know what that was all about.
I usually don't, but being a prequel, I'll allow it.
Yeah, so I just love the uniforms. They just look practical, and they did a little thing where they put colors on the shoulders to indicate rank. So Archer does have gold. I just like them because they're cool. I don't need spacey uniforms to know I'm in the future.
Yeah, I know they were going for more of a NASA thing, but to me, the Enterprise ones just feel more like an auto mechanic.
Yes.
And maybe it's just the way they're cut or the numbers.
I have never heard anyone
Me
say that
either.
before.
Really?
Right. These guys look
No, these look like auto mechanics with like fancy shoulder pads.
I've never heard that. Boy, Alan, he really doesn't like Enterprise.
Man, you can't please this guy with anything.
Very true.
Yeah.
I don't know if I get this from Chuck, but that's all I see when I see these is auto mechanic.
Wow, that's funny.
I do kind of not like Phlox's outfit. I'm not a big fan of that. I would like something a little aliener than that, but
Right.
I agree.
it just looks like he's wearing a nightshirt around,
Right.
Right. All right. Well, moving right along.
Skip.
Is this yours again?
No.
Yeah, that's me again. I think the whole upload. So we really got to skip so I don't keep talking.
Okay.
No,
seriously.
because you're skipping my favorite damn episode. Why?
Okay. All right. Romulan, and I have never seen a Romulan uniform that I like in the history of the franchise.
Even Balance of Terror.
They're okay.
Okay.
But the broad shoulder thing, they were really trying to go for that whole Roman aesthetic, and the fact that they're a very rigid society, very militaristic, not rigid, very militaristic. I mean, and I will say, looking at Deanna, this is episode when Deanna was an unwilling undercover agent on a Romulan starship. The broad shoulders, I will say, they do kind of convey, along with the hairstyles and stuff, it conveys a kind of a military authoritarianism. I don't like the uniforms. I kind of see what they're doing. But if ever, to me, there was a species in Star Trek that needs more fashion than just these broad shoulder pads, it's the Romulans. But Alan loves this episode, too, which I like.
Well, okay. So I almost included an image from this episode in mind. But here's the thing. I obviously have a very different idea about what this episode was supposed to be about than everybody else did. Because when we were talking about this, I said something in our discussion about having, showing Trek characters who are dressed other than their normal, like they're cosplaying or whatever. And I thought that was the angle we were going with. I didn't pick this one because she's kind of forced into this.
Yeah.
And I know that that's the case with Q putting the next gen crew in the Robin Hood thing, but at least that's fun. And there's no like necessarily serious danger to their life. Whereas this one is a kidnapping situation. And, so I kind of didn't feel as right about putting this one in under what I thought we were doing with tonight's show.
I see. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shoulder pads on Next Gen because it came out of the 80s, but the Romulans in particular they go a little extra on the shoulder pads.
And the next one's mine, so let's skip it. And one thing I got to say, which is actually funny, and skip that one, that's mine too.
Oh my gosh.
Let's skip. The funny thing real quick is because we were having some weird issues with Facebook and I was having some weird issues with my phone. And Charles, I looked at your messages. I can't see them for some reason. I realized I had no idea this was a cosplay kind of thing. Just costume.
Well,
so,
I didn't either. And I see
okay.
That was just me.
Okay, got it.
So this is from Fistful of Datas.
Good show.
And a lot of times you'll get holodeck episodes where they are dressing up as characters in whatever story they're portraying. And Fistful of Datas has got a few really good ones. And this is Worf in his like old Western town sheriff kind of costume. And I just want to say really quickly that there's a connection between two of the episodes that I picked from, and it's unintentional. And that is this one and Cupid. And my problem with these is Troy, because clearly she's a Starfleet officer, so she's had at least some phaser training, and she knows how to hold the weapon. In Cupid, she's so bad at pulling an arrow in a thing that she is aiming for a tree and she hits Data instead. So I don't care how much you're unfamiliar with a bow and arrow, you can still aim. In this one, yes, you can you can maybe miss the tree, but you're not going to hit Data instead, who's not standing.
Okay,
near the tree.
I will give you that.
But it also shoots down range.
But in this episode, Troy is a sharpshooter with a rifle. Come on,
I never thought about that.
Consistency.
I never thought about that.
I will say archery is a significantly different skill than riflery.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand that. I totally understand that. But you can still get nearer the tree than she did. Anyway,
funny.
So there's Worf playing Old West Sheriff.
All right, and this is one that I put up here. And the file size is too small for me to enlarge it. But this is a photo of Flint's costume from Requiem from Methuselah. And I put it on here because they did a version of this, or a costume based on this for M'Benga in Wedding Bell Blues this year. I just think this is a really cool looking spacey costume.
Really groovy. It's like
that's
almost
beautiful.
Paisley.
Yeah, I think it is Paisley. And yeah, I like the way it wraps. I like the little cape with it. I think this, if I was going to be in the future, I would want to wear something like this.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's a great costume. That is so sharp looking.
And I've got a photo coming up later of M'Benga in his.
So ooh, nice. Really quickly, here is Elaine, who says, while I understand the purpose / design of the Romulan uniforms, but they look so very uncomfortable. That weird woven quilted fabric looks itchy.
Agreed. Agreed.
And here's another one that this is a twofer, two Jake Siskos.
Yes.
When he had moved past his onesie phase and was in the sort of silky pajama shirt phase with bold colors. And they gave him some bold patterning on his. I still don't think this is quite working for Jake, though.
No. Agreed.
The one on the left is terrible.
The
one on the right, though, I really like.
Okay.
It's also funny. Yeah, it's also funny just looking at this because I have no idea how much time has passed, but man, you can see Sirach Lofton sprouting up like a tree. Like a tree.
Oh yeah, he grew so much during. I mean, he was at that age where he's like hit his growth spurt.
Yeah.
If they were making DS9 now every season he would be a foot taller because the way they film television shows now, there's too large a gap, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We would not have seen him grow up. We'd have seen him be a little kid and then an adult.
And here's a better Jake Sisko. This is more the adult Jake Sisko or approaching adulthood, where they started going with the vests. And I think they got some really smart looking vest looks for him. And I think this is a very good look for Jake Sisko.
I agree.
This is
this the final episode?
Yeah.
It's definitely season 7.
Right.
You can tell from Kira's hair.
Right.
And Jake, and I kind of like though that you can watch Jake go from boyhood to teenage to adult outfits, just even through his wardrobe.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that.
And thankfully for him, they did not keep him in onesies the whole time.
Okay. Here we go with, sorry, Elaine, spoilers. This is DS9 Trials and Tribulations, where the 24th century DS9 crew has to cosplay as 23rd century original series crew.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I love this episode so much because it's
Mm-hmm.
a technical marvel. And even now, 30 years later, it still looks great. Like they did such an amazing job with meshing these two very disparate sources of material together. And it's just beautiful. But I love everything about the way that they characterized dressing up like these characters and fitting in with this crew and this time period, which is so different from what they're from. It's just a spectacular episode in every way.
I just realized that's 3D checkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had 3D checkers in the original series.
I never saw them.
And those were commercially available, and fans, if they hit eBay, will gobble them up.
Really?
Yeah,
The
that's
ones
even rarer than 3D chess, I guess.
The ones that were like the ones on the show go quick on eBay.
And one thing I think is only Avery Brooks as Cisco could pull off that yellow costume again. The look on that man's face.
He looks so sharp in that uniform. Man.
Yeah,
I mean, but that man can pull off pretty much any look you put on him.
Yeah.
Elaine says, I've been aware of this DS9 episode. I'm looking forward to watching it. I can't wait till you get there.
I feel like we talked about it on an episode at one point.
We have. Yeah, we have.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is one of my. So here is an example of having to cosplay to fit in with a society.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Angel 1 from TNG season 1. What?
His earpiece, his little ear decoration.
I love it. And this is Riker in his little flouncy, flowery shirt that's very revealing. And I love this episode. It's not a terribly great episode, but I really like it. I think all the characters are served well in it. And there's this scene where he comes walking in the room, and I almost feel like this was a genuine reaction because he walks in the room and the way that Troy and Yar react to him seems so genuine.
Yeah.
It seems like they didn't see the costume or him in it until they filmed, and he walks in, and Denise Crosby just like falls over because it's so ridiculous, and I love it so much.
And what's funny is Turnabout is fair play, because humorous or not, they're doing what women have dealt with for decades, generations. They're staring straight at his chest. You can look at both actresses; their eye lines are right at his chest.
I mean, how can you miss it? First of all, they're much shorter than he is, so they're looking eye level for them.
I
don't know. Troy's gaze looks a little lower.
Yeah,
I know.
I agree with you. I don't like the episode at all, but it's this moment is interesting because one of the things he said, even though the moment's played for laughs, is he's like he made a comment. I forget what he said. Look, I wore something else in another society, because societies and what is considered appropriate varies ridiculously, even on our planet. So I love this. But now I remember when he went into the lady who rules the planet, she was like, "Ooh, boy, you look good." So it worked.
They're used to little skinny nerds.
Exactly. They're not used to manly men. She's like, "Hey, baby, I have landed the white whale." And Elaine says, as much as I do like Riker and can see his appeal, I think I would be giggling like Deanna is. I think they froze.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're not progressing into our next image. Oh, dear.
Yeah, I think Chuck there we go. You guys are back. You froze for a second.
Phew.
Uh-oh. Now we can't hear you, Chuck.
Sorry about that. We're fighting some internet problems tonight.
Okay, gotcha.
That's all right.
There you go.
Moving along to the next image.
Wow.
Oh yeah, this is also Fistful of Datas. This is Next Gen Season 7. And this is Data, who goes through a couple of different costumes in this because there's a thing going on with the holodeck or something. I haven't watched it in a million years, and he keeps being put in place of all these different characters. So Brent Spiner goes through lots of different costumes in this.
Yeah.
And there's one coming up later where he's the Old West bad guy, but this is him playing the barmaid.
Yeah, you might as well be calling Miss Kitty.
Yeah, they gave him a rubber chest.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
Yeah, and there were several of these type of episodes where they would just let Brent Spiner play as many characters as possible towards the end of TNG.
Yeah. And here is my friend Cat Smith. Hey, Cat, haven't talked to you in quite a long time. Bless him. He's such a good sport about looking so ridiculous. I believe this is going. Oh, and me and my one visible nipple will maintain our dignity. So she's talking about Angel One.
Yeah.
Oh, Cat, I love you.
All right, and here we have a costume that wasn't designed for the show, but came from Western costume, and that's why you see it pop up on several '60s TV shows. Is the coat for the Squire of Gothos?
Yeah. It even popped up on the Monkeys.
So this was not designed for the show. I didn't know that.
No, it was a rental.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, you're right. Now I look at it, I've seen it a million times over the years.
Yeah, and Gilligan's Island and the Monkeys and several other places you'll spot this coat pop up.
It's quite elaborate too.
Yeah, the work around the oh, here we go. Here we go, Captain Proton. Where is my Captain Proton series?
Right.
Gosh darn it, I need a Captain Proton series, as I've said many times on this show. And so
you don't need to use these actors. You can literally use anyone because we never saw the actual Captain Proton that they were basing this on.
Exactly. But I mean, I think that these two guys would get upset if you did it with anybody but them.
True.
I would be. I mean, you might not get Kate Mulgrew to come back and play what's her name, the spider lady, but
Arachnia.
I don't think you could do it. Arachnia. I don't think you could do it without these two guys. I don't think that would ever happen.
Yeah. And the look is definitely 1920s, 1930s serials down to the guns and stuff, even the hairstyle. So I've always loved this. It looks, and when you expand it to some of the other shows, the people like you were saying, Alan, Arachnia, and I forget the main guy. They are straight out of Flash Gordon and something like that.
Oh,
Chaotica. Yeah, they got it right.
Now, Captain Proton's outfit is actually based on Commando Cody. It's almost almost identical to Commando Cody's, except for he didn't have Commando Cody's cool helmet.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
You have to see his face.
My friend Kat says, see, once you've watched HBO's Deadwood, you can't watch Fistful of Datas without really wanting Worf to call somebody a cocksucker in Klingon. Now, I only let that word slip out on our nice family-friendly show because I'm quoting a viewer who said,
right. It was just a Klingon word we don't know.
Looking at the Captain Proton thing, it also puts me in mind of how they were dressing. I forget the actor's name who starred in The Rocketeer. Also, some of the very similar.
Oh yeah,
Billy Campbell.
I love Rocketeer. Yeah. Man,
me too. Great movie.
Okay, so now we come up to Strange New Worlds, and this is the episode where they're all doing the thing where they're in a. What's this episode called? I can't remember.
Space Adventure?
Yeah, where they're in a
murder mystery,
quote unquote 1960s television show.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is the crew basically who made the show, and I have a picture of the cast of the show in another file somewhere.
Okay,
but this is them in their 1960s groovy hippie garb, and I just love it.
You know, I liked that Paul Wesley's costume sort of harkened back to Kirk's civilian costume from Star Trek 3 and 4. And the colors and the turtleneck sort of reminiscent of Admiral Kirk. So I thought that was a good pull.
Yeah, that's a good look on him too, I gotta say.
And La'an was rocking her outfit.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
And I just love, I mean, I think that we've talked about this before. Strange New Worlds has done a spectacular job in the costuming department. And everything that they do, I just think is just incredible. And I love this episode so much. Every character is given such a specific and distinct look.
Babs could be playing Jimi Hendrix too. I like that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he could
Definitely where
sometime.
they were pulling from.
Yeah.
All righty. Here we have Queen
There she
Arachnia.
is.
Yes, there she is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Mulgrew pulls this off.
Yes.
I need to watch
Absolutely.
this episode tonight. Oh my God.
The hair, the makeup, the costume, the whatever that thing is sticking around her neck that's just over the top. It's all perfect. The ray gun, everything is perfect for this look.
And it's
Really
to her
is.
credit because I can't imagine a day of work wearing that collar.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like how do you sit down?
You don't.
Exactly.
I really hope that was an attachment that they like slid on
Yeah.
when they were filming. And there
Okay.
was like a belt that held it into place or something. I don't know.
All right, here we go.
There he is.
Yep. And here we have the Old West town villain as played by Brent
Yes.
Spiner's Data.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Lee Van Cleef look right here, and it
Yeah.
works.
Really quickly, Bill says that there was a time when the Sinsomniac Theater channel frequently ran The Rocketeer, and he watched it no matter when it came on.
Fun show.
Yes, it sure is, man. I love it.
And here we have, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Times Arrow, where they're back in
Mm-mm.
old timey
Nope.
San
This is
Francisco.
Elementary Dear Data.
Oh, fuck. Oh, sorry. That was another one. I'm quoting another one of our.
Right.
No. I'm sorry. Yes, I do have some Times Arrow in here somewhere,
Yep.
but this one is Elementary Dear Data, where they are all dressed in period costume to be part of a Sherlock Holmes mystery. And this was really the first Next Gen episode where I mean, it's sort of a gimmick episode, but it made sense within the storyline of the series, and it gave the actors a chance to really expand their characters and really do something outside of what we were regularly seeing them do. And it's such a clever script.
Yeah. And
Love it.
I think that they all pull off these costumes very well.
Oh yeah. And every time I see Beverly in this outfit, the first thing I think of is, oh no, this is not that one. This is the second one with Pulaski.
Pulaski.
Pulaski
Yeah.
was in the first one, Elementary Dear Data.
Never
Beverly
mind.
was not.
Clearly, I am not suited to be on this podcast anymore, 'cause I've gotten all my details wrong tonight. Never mind.
This also points. I always find it interesting when you have people like LeVar Burton with the visor and Brent Spiner with all the skin makeup and stuff. It's kind of wild to think that they go in, get on their regular costumes and makeup or whatever, then they do an extra layer with these new costumes they have to put on top of that. That's a lot of work going on there, and a lot for the costume folks.
I really liked that scene in Lower Decks when they were on the long haul and everyone's on basically leave. And then they go to an emergency situation. So you've got people running out in their holodeck outfits, going to the battle stations. And
Yes.
that was very good, appropriate humor.
Right.
Yeah.
There's Time Zero.
Hey, there's Time Arrow,
Right.
where they're all back in 30s or 40s, San Francisco, or
Earlier
18.
than that. Yeah.
1870s.
And I love this episode, but I'm not going to say too much about it because we're at 54 minutes already. So next,
Here's
and
a
this
Time
is
Zero.
Data, and now I know I picked an image bigger than this. Data and Guinan in that same episode.
okay.
You know, until you pointed out, I don't think I realized how many different types of costumes Brent Spiner has worn throughout the
Yeah.
franchise. My gosh.
Yeah.
Right.
Not even counting Matt. Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's cool. That
Yeah.
works.
I love their I don't remember what the show is called, but
Space
I love their
Adventure Hour.
costumes.
That's Space Adventure Hour. Yeah, this could have been Electra Woman and Dinah Girl for those who remember.
Oh my gosh.
that
Yeah.
series.
It felt very much like a cross between 50s and 60s sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And again,
definitely.
To say something positive real quick, if you don't listen to dialogue or know what's going on, if you just look at Paul Wesley, you can say, yeah, he could do Kirk. Just look at the way he's looking there. I mean, I know he's trying to do Kirk, but he works.
In this one in particular, he's doing
Yes.
a deliberately over-the-top Shatner.
Absolutely. And he nails it.
Yes.
So I picked this one. This is a shot from Wedding Bell Blues
okay.
from the
Yes.
wedding. It has her in her Lady Gaga style wedding dress. I in particular, I love all the little background characters of the Andorian costumes that
Yes.
look like Andorian costumes.
Right.
Right.
Their
And
little
I like the
antennae
ball.
are small.
And I like the little bald guy over to the left hand side of as we're looking at it, because he looks like they look like Journey to Babel background extras. Like
Mhm.
these guys could have been in the background of Journey to Babel,
They
but
do.
he very much has that look. And I just love that they got so many very specific Star Trek references into these background
Mhm.
actors.
Agreed.
wardrobes.
Yeah, agreed.
And then these are some Bolians. We got to see some Bolian costumes, and I thought these were very nice looking costumes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
these are
You know,
great.
Sort of the flower petal looking shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're great.
That's
Yeah,
pretty.
love
It
'em.
looks real for what that is. Could be.
Mhm. Yeah, and you believe that these were what Bolians would wear to a wedding.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very good.
And that guy in the back has a very like TOS looking, like you can see an ambassador or somebody coming on the ship and having an outfit like that.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And here we have the Mbanga outfit I was talking about. That's very much a take on that Flint costume, but
Yeah.
they put their own spin on it. Toned down the colors a bit, obviously, but it still has that very like that 60s look, and it's just better tailored, or more tailored more for HD, I guess. But I just think it's a really cool looking costume.
But you know, the colors of that original would have looked fantastic on
Mhm.
him.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
It also conveys future, that look, that type of future look.
Mhm. Yeah, and I like he has the one sleeve that's like a metallic
Mhm.
sheen, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a cool outfit.
But also,
Sorry.
go back to
Woo!
also Scotty's image or Scotty's costume there with the kilts and everything was
Mhm.
really, really nicely done.
Oh,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was.
Definitely.
Okay.
And then I had another Jake Sisko.
I
This
don't
time
even
in
remember this one.
It looks like bowling alley carpet.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it does. Like early 90s
Oh
bowling
my-
alley.
Yep.
Gosh.
And that was in his teenage years when he was in the sort of pajama-y looking shirts.
It looks like kind of when you turn off the lights and hit it with a black light, it would just do all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff to your
Yep.
eyes.
Yep.
Or like a sparkles.
Yeah.
Yep. I currently own a shirt that
Oh.
is patterned after 1980s arcade carpet.
Okay.
It's spectacular.
Wow.
This one is
I love this one.
Yeah, this is
I don't
another
even remember
I
these.
love it.
Jake Sisko outfit.
uh
I had a few of these in here because he had some choice patterning, and looks like back in his onesie days. But even so, he's got that very similar, that sort of nice
Yeah.
look to his
And if
outfit.
you look again, real quick, if you go look at the episode Mark and Gideon, the people who are at the council chamber, their patterns are very much like that right there.
Oh, sure,
It's very
yeah.
weird looking. Wow.
And then here's one more shot of Jake Sisko in one of his more adult outfits
Mhm.
as he grew up and got some cooler looking clothes. And that brings us to the last photo we have in our little
And-
deck here.
And also,
Nice.
one thing it shows real quick in that episode, in that picture there, Charles, is that was when they had the change to the blacker uniforms on DS9, and then
Mhm.
Voyager also made that change, and it was a big deal. Elaine, you're listening, so I won't spoil what's going on, but it was a big deal around that
Mhm.
time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Yeah.
So yeah,
That was
it's
fun.
some peeks at some Star Trek costumes that we liked. And I think we did a pretty good job of
Yeah.
running the gamut across the various shows.
I
Yeah.
think just looking at this is a great idea. Whoever came with this idea, a couple of things it did. It reminded me again of how much work goes into making a show look right, because these are all silent. We're not hearing anything,
Mhm.
and they convey moods and things and time. And also makes me appreciate Strange New Worlds more when I'm not sitting there yelling about them doing humor. Just looking at the production value,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
looks fantastic.
I'm
Yeah.
really surprised there's no Elysian Kingdom.
Mhm.
Oh,
You
Maybe-
know,
maybe for the next one.
we were waiting for you to put that picture in there.
Right.
Apparently.
That was one of your suggestions that didn't
it wasn't
Exactly.
coming from me, Veronica.
All right. Well, Alan, where can people find more of you?
CosmicCreative.com. KOZMIC Creative.com.
And how about you, Keith?
You can find me on Facebook, primarily the ESO Network Facebook groups.
And how about us, Veronica?
Feltnerdy.com.
And
Monkeying Around, a podcast about the monkeys.
that's right. Do you have a closing for us this week?
Every week for like 5 years. Live long and prosper.
Okay.
All right. So see everybody next
Yeah.
Thursday, 8
Yeah,
p.m.
yeah.
Eastern.
And happy Halloween for those who care about it.